Hi, everyone. I am introducing Chrystalle Doyle. She's the coordinator of technology for the Mason County Schools. She's an educator with 32 years of experience, and she's been working in Mason County since 1989. She began her career as an elementary music school teacher at Central and Roosevelt Elementary. She taught there for 15 years, and before moving to Ashton Elementary for 8 years. After teaching music for 23 years, she became a technology integration specialist in 2012. As a TIS, she has supported 5 schools and did training and demo lessons. After 6 years as a TIS, she was promoted to coordinator of technology. She has a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and an administrative certification from Marshall University. And she's a Google One and Level 2 certified educator, Microsoft Innovator Educator Trainer, and a Screencastify Master Screencaster, and a Smart Certified Trainer. So you can find her on Twitter at CLC Doyle. And here she goes. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's a little weird talking to nobody, but I got used to it last year during the pandemic. So I'm going to start first with my slide deck, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Jamboard. And then once I do that, I'm going to do a few live things in Jamboard. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat, let us know. And Lisa can stop every now and then and interrupt with your questions, and you can talk to me if you want to, because I feel like it's a really quiet thing. I've noticed that a lot, that this is a very quiet conference. It's not like having a Teams meeting where everybody can pipe in as needed. So I'm going to try to share a little bit here. And I'm just going to share my first tab to start with, because that way I won't. Here we are. I'm going to share this. All right. Now, all right. I added the second screen, so I assume you all can see my thing. And I'm going to present that in presenter view. Okay, so I called this Get Jamming with Jamboard. Now, if there's one thing that happened during the pandemic, was that all of a sudden everybody wanted what I was selling forever. Nobody cared. Well, I don't need to know how to do this stuff. I just use the book and I do this. I mean, I spent years trying to convert people to want to use technology, and nobody did. Okay. But then all of a sudden everybody wanted what I was selling. So I'm Chrystalle Doyle and I'm coordinator of technology. Like I said, you can find me. My email is ccrabtree with 1 E. I had a terrible time during my practice session because I had my email wrong, but luckily I've gotten in here and I can do it now. I also have an Instagram and a Facebook page, and I love to share things with people. I'm always doing presentations in my county all the time. Now, what is Jamboard? Now, originally last year, I told you Jamboard was a dud, okay? Because Jamboard was a dud. Because when you tried to use it with students, they could erase everything you had and you had no idea who did anything. So that made it very unusable to me. Because if I don't know who is doing anything, then I can't monitor it. I can't share it with students. I could use it to draw on and make really cool things and share them with people, but I really couldn't use it as an educational tool. But now it's a collaborative digital whiteboard, and it is also a core Google service. So it is SIPA, COPA, and all that compliant because it's a core Google service. It's not an add-on. You can draw, add files, pictures, etc., and it has artificial intelligence features like auto draw, which is one of my favorites because it helps. It can figure out what you're trying to draw, because if you're not very good at drawing, my daughter's an art major, I'm not. So it can try to figure out what you're drawing and draw for you. Now there's many ways to find Jamboard. I'm really excited because it used to be you had to go to Google Drive and look for it, add a new thing, go to your thing and look for Jamboard. It was right down under more. But now they've integrated it in several areas. You can make a Jamboard. You can make or open a Jamboard directly from your meeting. If you use Google Meet, then you can do a Jamboard from there. You can also go to jamboard.google.com. If you type jamboard.google.com, it'll take you right there and you're in a Jamboard if you use Google. And you also can search for it in Google Drive like you used to. You know, you go under, hit the little plus sign, look and go to your Google Drive, and you go down to more, and Jamboard is one of your choices. But finally, there's an app. There's an app for iOS and an app for Android. So it is not Google exclusive. Yes, it is a free service, Vern. It is one of their free things. So if you use Google, it is a free service. Jamboard is one of their free things, and it covers all those things. I know our county uses Google. We have Google for Education, and there's free stuff and there's paid stuff. And we have paid for stuff because we wanted the recordings, all that, but there is a whole free service too. And Jamboard is in the free things. Okay. Now, if you're looking at the toolbars, we're going to show these out in other things in person displays here when I'm done with this. But in the, if you look to the left, that's the web version. The web version has a little bit less than the app version. So in the web version, you can choose your pens, and I use a drawing tablet. If I'm using the web version on my computer, I have a Wacom drawing tablet so I can write on it. If you have touchscreen Chromebooks, you can just use your finger. Then it has the eraser, it has the arrow, and then you can add shapes and text boxes. So that's the web version. And it also has a little, what it's called, shape hot dogs. Those little 3 dots are things that tell you what you can do with it. You can edit it. Once you add it, you can edit, duplicate, delete things based on those little dots. Everything Google calls all the 3 dots hot dogs. That's just a Google term. And if you're using text with it, you can change the text size. So that's the web version. And you can fill colors, and you have different size text, and it's pretty easy to use, pretty intuitive. Then if you go to the app version now adds your AI, the auto draw stuff. The app version also allows you to insert images, drive content, use the camera on your iPad, your Chromebook, your phone, whatever, and you can go to your image library, and it also has stickers. So those are on the app version, you get more things. And then from the 3 dots, their hot dog, you can make a copy, rename, delete, add people to all these jams. So the Android version and the iPad version, iOS version, is a little more powerful. I like being able to just add a picture from my iPad. It's really, and then you can mess with it and change it. And same with your students. Like our students have Chromebooks. So the Chromebooks allow you to use the App Store as well, and you can use the app version as opposed to the web version, and they get a lot more usability. There's a lot more stuff in there. Okay. Now, the updated features and functions of it since March, they put this in there this year, is the Meet integration. So you no longer need to open like five tabs to get a Jamboard and then add it to your Google Meet. You can choose the whiteboard to create and or open an existing tab. And you can click the 3 dots in Google Meet, in the Google Meet window, and that's where you find the jam thing. And so that makes it useful. Next, let's see. You can also do custom backgrounds. Now, I find this really exciting to me. I go and find custom backgrounds everywhere. You know, I need a Frayer model. I go on Google Images looking for a free Frayer model. I go to Slides Mania. I don't know if any of you have used Slides Mania, but this came from Slides Mania. Slides Mania has these little slides that they make that are free. You can download them. I download them to my Google Drive, make them a Google slide thing, and then I save one individually as a JPEG, and then upload it back to my jam, and then it's the background of my jam. And what that means, if it's the background of your jam, that means the kids can't mess with it. It's permanent. So if you just add a picture to your jam, someone can move that. Someone can delete that. But if it's a background, it cannot be moved. So if I want them to write pros and cons, because that background, they could, erase and do anything else, but that background does not move. So, I use it, select image. I find like you can use your own personal pictures. I made like little little classrooms, those little, Bitmoji classrooms last year. You can use those little Bitmoji things as your backgrounds. You can use whatever you want for a background. So, and then, like I said, once it's a background, then the students can't move it. Now, the newest feature that has made it real useful is the revision history. So you can track the latest history changes to your jam. And it's also a free feature. You don't have to pay for that. And it empowers educators, and it makes the tool much more useful to them from being abused by students. Because it used to be these kids, someone said, well, I put up this really cool jam, kids raced it off, and all I have is a blank screen. And then you had no idea who did it. But now you know, because you could go see, and you can go back and click the revision history and say, I want it to look like this. Please replace my jam with this jam, and it'll go back to the jam you had. Which, as a teacher, that's much handier than having a blank screen that no one can do anything with. So now you can have 20 frames, which means different pages on each jam. So you can make 20 different pages for your jam. And you don't have to share it with anyone. You can just use it as a tool. But you can have up to 25 editing collaborators at a time on a jam. But they say it works better with 20 or less. Because once you get a lot of people editing on your jam, you could make 20 frames and give certain kids a frame, and it'd be easier to use. But just remember, you could have up to 50 viewers at a time. So 50 people can be looking at your jam, and 25 people can be editing it at the same time. But like I said, I wouldn't recommend more than 20. I know most people's classes, with the pandemic, we've had a little bit smaller class numbers, so it made it easier to use in a group. Because you have smaller classes. I know last year we had a lot smaller classes because they went and made everybody try to space out. And this year they're hiring more teachers and more interventionists. So it would be a good tool to work with this year. It says, if you can also use this in Google Classroom, and you can make your own copies for your students, and then you can assign groups. So make sure you think it through. You shouldn't do this on the fly. Don't decide like 2 minutes before the class starts. You're going to make this jam and share it out to groups and make them do that, because you need to plan ahead to make this work properly. So if you last minute assign groups and give everybody, you might have like a little bit of a disaster. But if you plan ahead, these are really cool to do with your students as a group and a group project. All right, and so your steps for successful teamwork with your Jamboard is to create your Jamboard template, create an assignment in Google Classroom and schedule it for later, and then assign it to the first group. Then you would reuse the assignment, and then you create new copies for each group that's using it. Like, if you want to use it with like 4 or 5 classes, you want to make a template one and then make a copy, because you don't want everybody trying to be jamming on the same time. So, and finally, all right. So any questions before we go? And I'll show you some jams we've made and do some stuff like that. Anyone have questions about using Jamboard? Has anybody used Jamboard? All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and go back to me, because I'm going to change what I'm sharing. So make sure I get this to connect. Okay, later. Okay. All right, now I'm going to connect again. I want to scare. All right, so I'm assuming, okay, can you see my iPad? I'm using an app called Lonely Screen, and Lonely Screen allows me to use my iPad on a computer so everybody can see it, because that way I don't have to connect to a different thing. So I'm sharing my iPad to my desktop on my laptop computer right now. But Lonely Screen's like $13 a year. It's an app. You can buy it on, you download it from the web, and then you get the iOS version on or the Android version on your thing, I think it only is iOS actually, because I used another one for Android. And so once you do that, then it connects and you can share your iPad. Now, I wanted to show you the iOS version of this. So let me go back here to here. So if you're on, it's got a little bit of lag, so I'm a little fast. Okay, so these are the jams I've made. And so if you are on an Android or iOS version, the app version, you just hit the plus sign, and now you're making a new jam, right? So I'm making a new jam, and right now it's just a blank screen. So if I touch the thing here, it tells me what kind of pen I have, what color I have pen, or if I hit these assistive drawing tools. So say I want to draw a circle, it's going to tell me. So if I'm going to draw a circle, it's going to fix it for me. It knows that it's a triangle. You can also change the color of that. So if I want to change the color to blue, and I wanted to draw a triangle, it's going to make a pretty blue triangle for me. I'll catch up in a minute. It's going a little slow on this thing. So you can see where I did that. Now, the other thing you can do with assistive technology is you can do text to text. So I can say, to close it up, if I say, I'm going to write hello, and it's going to change it to my regular thing. See, it's way slow on here. Now watch, it's going to turn into regular text. So that's part of the AI it uses. And the final one is it tries to guess what you're drawing. Okay, so you start squiggling on it. It's like, well, I think maybe you mean this. Wait till you see my little terrible little dog cat thing. And it's like down at the bottom, it tells you, it gives you a choice. Well, do you mean this? Do you mean this? And then it changes it for me. So I like how it does that, because like if I want to draw like a squiggly line, it'll go, oh, you mean a squiggly line? And oh yeah, that's what I want. And then you can move it. Do you mean Wi-Fi? Yes, I mean Wi-Fi. And then when you change it back to your little thing, then you can move it around, because once you've done something with it, you can move it. And if you want to just throw that away, see how it turns into a little trash can there? You go, whoop, and it's gone. And you don't have it anymore. Anywhere there's the little hot dog, remember I talked about the Google hot dog. So you can duplicate, you can delete, you can bring it forward. So look, here's this behind it. I could bring that forward, and it covers up the hello. I can bring it backward, send it to the back, and you can have it behind there. You can also, here from this one, you can insert images. And so you can search for an image. You can also use your camera and take a picture of whatever you want. So I could turn it around, take a picture of myself, use my photo. See, now I'm in my own jam. There I am. I can turn myself to the side. Oh, gotta get it right there. I can angle it, rotate it, whatever I want. And you can use your image library. So I could take any picture. Like here's our county school logo and my daughter's boyfriend, and she's all there. And you can make it, see, I can make it big, and I can add it part of my jam. So that's just one on the fly. I've made a few here. Now, the nice thing about these is you can go from there to your web version. So you can start them here on your iPad where you have more stuff. Like here's one I made yesterday, was playing around. So there's a picture of the Mothman. There's my daughter's boyfriend trying to grab him. And it's like, hey, the little Mothman say hello. And I say hello. And you could add this. So that was a little sticky notes. And if I hit the little thing in the corner, I can now edit this jam. And if I invited other people, they could edit my jam as well. So, and once you go to the little arrow, then you can mess with it. So there's Mothman yelling, hey, and then Point Pleasant. You look at the Mothman, you can see why people grab at his butt all the time, because he's got the statue has a big butt on there. So it's fun for local people. But it would be nice it'd be a cool thing for students to work together on a project, make their own pictures, add things to it. You can place notes as needed. Your little sticky notes, they come in a bunch of different colors. So you can choose your color. You've got all these colors to choose from. And they work on the web version and or the app version. All right, now I'm going to stop sharing this because I want to share my whole screen so I can show you some more jams that we made. And I'm going to share one with you that you can play around with me, okay? Yes, you can save an object and use it over and over again. You can, Vern, yes. So let me go here and check this out. Close this up, and I want to stop sharing. Boop. Okay, so this is so like that was the iPad version. I like the iPad version because I can have so many more things in it. But I want to show you how you can not only do that, but you can then take those iPad versions and they save to your Google Drive. Automatically saves to Google Drive. One thing I like about Google is that, it's like Jesus, it saves often in more than one place, but you got it saved. You don't have to you can rename it, but it's saving. It'll call it Untitled Jam 1, 2, 3, 4, even if you didn't change it. And you can always look for your stuff here. So I'm going to share again. So this time I'm going to try to share my whole screen too. So then, okay, so now you should be able to see my Google Drive. So in my Google Drive, you can see here, I've got like way too much stuff in my Google Drive. And the beauty of Google Drive is that you can search for anything, because I gave up trying to organize my Google Drive years ago because it got too full. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to my Drive, it'll show you, it shows you all the stuff you've been working on recently. So there's that one jam I had open on my iPad, right? I was working on my iPad, but now it's right here on the iOS version. All the stuff moved over with it. I can edit it from here. I can do everything but the, I can add pictures from my computer. I just can't add pictures from my iPad. I can, I can write. If I had my little stylus put it together, I can write on it. I can do stuff here. I can change it. So, like I said, it transfers from one to the other. I think they're easier to make on your app than to start with a blank one here, but I mean, they aren't bad. So here we are. Let me close that up. That's my lonely screen. So here's my pro con one. So if you had the link to this, you could write on it. You can, you could add a sticky note. And I want a blue sticky note. And you can type whatever you want. It's easy to use. Save. And then that's my little pro, and I can move it around as I need it. I want to put that there. Or you could just write on it. If you're using the thing where you could write, you could just write on there. You could do things. But this one's a background. So when I hit clear frame, what happens? It's gone. But you can always hit the undo button. That's the other favorite thing about Google. It has an undo button. And let me show you here my mock. I'm the only one that's worked on this one. But you can see the version history, they call it now, instead of revision history. But so you can see that there's my current version, because I've changed it a little bit. That was yesterday, and tells you everybody that's worked on it and what they've done. And you can click it and choose different versions if you want. So like if I changed it and I wanted to go back to what I originally had, it would change it out back to that. Okay. Now here's an example that I got from, I believe it was from Control-Alt-Achieve. Okay. He put it up there to share. So this is one you would share with your students. And so it's already here set up. Like the kid would click their thing and they would edit this and they put their name in it, right? Change it to their name, Steve or whatever. And how are you feeling today, Steve? Well, Steve is feeling bad. So where did my Steve go? So I find it out here. Yeah. And Steve, I don't feel really good today. And then you can turn in with your teacher. So I'm going to share this out to you guys so you can edit this too. And I want you to put your name on a thing, see if you can do it. Put your name on there and put yourself whether you're good, okay, or bad today. So let me share this link to you guys. So let me get my link. Man, it's slow. copied this link earlier. I should have done that. I'm pretty sure I don't have this still saved. Well, let me stop sharing for a minute so I can share the link with you guys. Hold on. It's stuck. Maybe. Well, let me go any further. Come on. There he goes. Let me stop sharing for a second. Let me get my link. I got to refresh my page. I gave it a little stroke. I'm hard on computers. All right. There's the link. So, and I'm going to share my screen again. Hopefully you guys can work on this. So you can click it and join. All right. So I see people joining it. You can see at the top, you can tell by that people are joining my thing. Because it shows right up here that I've got anonymous people in here. And you can make it bigger or smaller. Don't steal someone else's. And you can see where you can use this for formative thing. You can find out right then. People can tell you how they're doing.
I'm not sure I...
Oh, Siri decided I thought I was talking to her. All right. Steve, why do you feel so bad, Steve? Poor Steve. So you can go back and talk to Steve. Steve's having some trouble. Now, if you look notice at the top, you can see where it says 1 of 5. That means there are 5 different jams on this when there's 5 different slides. So I also have on this next one there you go. So do you think this would be useful for a student? Put your name on there, put thumbs up or thumbs down. Everybody take. Okay, Vern, to answer your question, Jamboard is stored as like a Jamboard file. You can download them as a PDF or I think you can make them a picture. I'm not sure what all the other choices you can do here. I have to look at it. But if you go up to you guys are working on it right now, but the 3 dots at the top, you can download it as a PDF. You can save it as an image, but it's actually saved as a Jamboard. I mean, that's saved as a Jamboard Google file. But you could. If I look at my version history, I can see who worked on it. Oops. So all my anonymous users worked on the other one over there, and so I could go and take it out if I wanted to. That just shows you my version history. I just wanted to see what I was seeing. Okay. Now I can go back. Okay, so I see Clint, Barbara, Lisa, and Amanda gave it a thumbs up. Nobody else is going to play on jam number 2. Nobody else is going to play on jam number 2. So to your thumb drive, I'm not sure you can because they're automatically saved in Google, Vern. So yeah, it really exists in the Google environment. It's more of a Google thing. It's its own. Because you can use Microsoft Whiteboard works similarly, but I think Google Jamboard, because we use Google a lot, it makes it easier for me. I mean, I've used Whiteboard, but the problem is, when they don't play well with others and they run with scissors, they don't always play. Google works way better with Google than without it. You could copy a jam that you did, but it wouldn't be interactive. It would just be a picture, a PDF at that point. Okay, and then the third one I see is like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You could ask a question and give me 5. You're into and put where you are, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You could have your own little comparison on the board and do that. How well do you understand? 5 being the best, 1 being the least. You can put your little name in there. You can move it around. Yeah, you could, and you could do that. You don't have to put a name in there. You could put numbers. You could do whatever. Yeah, that's good point, Julie. I mean, this just one was set up, and I thought it was a good one for sharing, just to show you how it works. You can there's all kinds of different things you can do. Yeah, if you want to make it confidential, you could just have them do symbols of everybody's stuff. We go to the next frame. Next frame. So this is just showing you a graph, like there's a background. And then you can, and then number 5, I think it was just blank. See, so you can set the background. These are the ones that come with it. It comes with like, you could have little dots. You can make it look like notebook paper, graph paper. You can make a plain blue background, though I don't know why you want to, or you can upload whatever you want. So whatever pictures you want. So you can upload anything on your computer. You can also do a Google image search. It will look for anything there. You can also pull anything that you already have in your Google Drive. So if you already have things in your Google Drive, it'll look for things in your Google Photos. I don't know. I have about 1 million Google Photos. Hard to tell what show up there. So you can see up there. You can see, yeah. So if you want to have anything there, then So if you want to use this. And you just would hit set as frame background. Let's see what I'll get. Set as frame background. So we'll change the background to that. And then you could draw on that. If you hit clear frame, it won't take your background away. You can always just go back to that background too. So, but like I said, anytime you put a new arrow, that gives you another frame, and your limit is 20 frames per Jamboard. 20 frames per Jamboard is your limit. Now, if you go back here to my drive, let's see where's some other ones I have. So I went to here slides. Have any of you guys used Slides Carnival? The Slides Carnival is a bunch of these ones, but Slides Mania has ones that are already done for you. Slides Carnival are just like templates. Slides Mania is even better. I like them both. So Slides Mania, you can find things for all kinds of stuff. They have all these templates, and they have ones that were by educators. They have things that are already done up here for you. Skip all that stuff. We don't want a free demo. So you can use almost all of these work with PowerPoint or Google Slides, and you can change them. You can use them. Any of them as background for your Jamboard, and change them around as needed. So anybody have questions about how would you use a Jamboard? Comments they want to add, things you'd want to talk about with Jamboard. I went from being like, this is my least favorite app to I think it's a really useful, fun app because it's very, you can do a lot of things with it. And I really like that being able to set the background that the kids can't erase it, because let me show you one thing here on my Mothman one. So like if you have the access to it, that was the problem before. Hit clear frame. Boop. Everything's gone. Who cleared my frame? So now I could go back and return it and get it back, So students would, we don't want that to happen. So that's why I like the background idea. So, but you can't put a background on the iOS app, by the way. If you're using the iOS app or the Android app, the background has to already be there. So like I said, it works in both places and it automatically saves. So you can start in one place and edit in another. So, okay. So the revision label, Vern had a question. Say I had, you were signed in. Okay. So let's say, for example, that you're in my class. It'll tell me who messed with it last. So like if you're logged in, if Vern Britton was logged in and he's the one that erased, or he wrote something rude under Mothman's, took hey out and erased it and wrote, kiss my butt or something like that, then it would come up and said Vern Britton, and it'll show me what he did. And then it would change it back. So and I could change it back. And I know who did it. So, so it tells me in the version history, I could click where it said Vern Britton and it showed me everything that Vern Britton did to this Jamboard. But you'd have to be signed in, which is why when you're using it with your class in your Google Classroom, all the kids have their own Google accounts if you're a Google people. If you're not Google people, you can still use it. I mean, it does still work. It just, you don't get the consistency you get if you're a Google county. I know some counties are Google counties, some counties aren't Google counties. So yeah, it would highlight your edit. Yes, it would tell me what you did, and I could go back to the previous version and change it. It would tell me what you did to it. So because mine, you can't really tell. Because it shows anything I did in here. So July 12th at 3:37, it was blank, and at 3:49, it looked like this. At 9:32, it looked like that, but I didn't make any changes to speak of. If you change a lot, it'll show the difference, what got moved around and what changed. It would let me know what your edit was and where you changed, yes. And that's why they do that in Docs as well. Every one of Google's products, except Jamboard until this year, would tell you when students had changed it and what got changed in the previous version. So you could see, who was logged in, who changed it, and what happened. Okay, let me go back to my drive. So this was a practice jam I just made last night because I was playing around. And I put in this one, maybe it'll come up. Yeah, so you can see that was my little banner that I used on my Google Classroom. And so now this thing, I drew this circle that was so bad that it didn't recognize it. Okay, clear, but see, you could also fill it with color. So if was here, you can put color in there. See, but you have to be using something that has it. So right here, this thing in the display, you can change it to title size, you can change it to subtitle size, you can change it to normal or caption. So it doesn't work exactly the same as like a Word document, because it gives you, like, in that kind of texting, it gives you size choices. You can hit your little shape hot dog and edit it. So from here, I could change the color of it if I wanted it to be pink instead, and save it. So let me see if I can see version history. Does it change my version history? So before it looked like that, and now it looks like this, because so you can see the difference. I changed the color of where it says Crystal is cool. Okay, so that, and you can see there, yeah, so you can tell the things I added, things I took out. I think I duplicated some stuff. So that's the current version. And I could, so I go back to, then you go back to the arrow and you can go here. So if I want to make this say, edit, hello everyone, and change it to green, save. Then I can go to my version history and I can see that a few minutes ago it looked like that, but now it looks like this. And I can actually go back here and I could hit restore this version and it would go back to this version, and that would be the newest version. I can also make a copy of this version or name the version something different if I want to have another one like it. Okay. me get my thing. Share some stuff with you. Let's see. So the one I shared with you that you all edited on, you can actually, in Google, you do file, make a copy, and that gives you your own copy of it. So you can, so like right now it's at viewer. So if you change this, you change the very end, copy, make it so you get to make a copy of it. Oh, look, do you want to make a copy of that? Absolutely. Here, I'm going to give this to you guys. If you want to make your own copy, then you would just click it, and it'd be your copy of it. If I can get back to here, it gets stuck. My mouse is stuck and won't let me get back. Got to give it a minute. There we go. So hit Control V. So if you click that, that's going to make a copy of it for yourself, and you could, edit it, change it. It's your copy. It's yours. You can mess with it however you want. It's your copy of it. Same with the original one I had here. Where's my practice? That was my practice jam. Let me close that one out. Boop. I get too many things open, and I get crazy. All right. And here, Jamboard check-in 21, yeah. So I'm gonna go back here too. That's a little sneaky thing I learned. I like making copies. I like to make copies because then I have my own copy. A lot of times I have copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, but then you can rename it. So if you want to make your own copy, you can. And then I have my own copy and I can clean it up however I want and then share it with my students again later. Like I said, I recommend you find lots of cool stuff on Slides Carnival and Slides Mania. Like I said, I don't like to reinvent the wheel. I have to work all the time anyway, and I'm always coming with new stuff. But if they find something that's easier and it's already done for me, I love that. I love that. So, and I was going to share my my presentation with you if you're interested. So you don't have to, it ain't Russia, but if you want your own copy to view, I'll share that too if you want. Get that out here. Boop, boop, boop. So I gotta hit my share link so I can share with people. I'm gonna quit sharing my screen because I can't share my screen and make a new link. I figured that out in life. It doesn't play well with others. It runs with scissors. Okay, does anybody want to talk or have a question or things that they would, interested? Like I said, I thought this was the worst app ever last year, but this year I'm much happier with it. It's when I heard in March and April they were doing all this and they changed all this stuff, I was really excited. So copy my link and I'll show this out to you. And that's a view link. So if you want to change, you have to file, make your own copy and change it around. So I think it's a really cool app. I really do. I really like Jamboard. And like I said, last year, I liked Jamboard to play with, but I wouldn't have used it with students because, like I said, they could change it too much. But now it's fun for everybody because students would like it too because they can make their own jams and they can share them out because they have. If your students have Google accounts, so they have that thing to Jamboard. Like I said, this is a free feature. Jamboard is not a paid feature. Jamboard is a free feature. All right, anyone have anything else they want to add before I wrap up? Hope you found it a useful session. Hope you enjoy the rest of your conference. So.
Thank you, Chrystalle.
All right.
This session will be recorded and you'll be able to view it later.
Okay.
We'll be putting them up.
All righty. And I've got, like I said, I shared all my links. So if you need, and if you have any other ones you're interested in, you can always email me. They put my email in the chat. Again, it's on my it's on my thing too, but it's C Crabtree with 1 E because I've taught a long time before I got married. I didn't want to change my email. So. All right. Thanks, guys.
Mhm.